Do you want me looking at the camera or do you want me looking at you?
Anywhere. It doesn't matter. So, okay. So the first one is say your name. I have everybody say their name because that's like the first question I get.
Okay, so it's Maggie Stiefvater.
Stiefvater.
It's like the name Steve and the furry animal otter.
Okay, so Steve Otter.
Yes, perfect. See, it's my
Excellent.
husband's name. And so when he first told me what it was, I thought, well, first I thought, well, I'm not marrying that one. And then I thought, I'm not taking his last name. And then, well, it all went downhill from there. Then I thought I desperately needed to have some kind of way to remember how to say his last name so I didn't make an idiot the next time I saw him.
That works. I think it does. Okay, so favorite bad boy.
Don't I like bad boys? I'd say my husband's a very good boy. He's a cop.
Okay.
Which is like the definition of it. I prefer angst puppies.
Okay. So favorite Inks puppy then.
Howl from Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh, that's a great one. Okay, so I have favorite bad girl, but we've already established you're not a
No, I like bad girls.
Oh, okay.
But man, who would I like? I don't know if I can pick a favorite. I just know that I just read Revolution by Jennifer Donnelly, and the main character is a very bad girl at the beginning in a kind of terrible and unlikable way, and her transformation is very appealing to me.
Ghost. It's a fantastic book. All right, so book to movie you wish existed.
What's that?
A book that hasn't been turned into a movie.
Wow. But you said these were easy questions. That's not an easy question.
It doesn't have to be just
There
one.
are a lot of books that I actually would like to be good movies.
Right.
There are already
absolutely.
bad movies. I really love Susan Cooper's The Darkest Rising series, and the first one was made into a movie.
Yes,
and it was terrible.
It had such a bad ending. I agree.
So I would like for them to rematch that with 100% more Welsh mythology and atmosphere, please.
Yes. I can get behind that one. What are you reading lately?
What did I just pick up? Oh, I have Donna Tartt's latest. It's not YA, it's adult. She wrote Secret History, which is a book that a reader recommended to me after I wrote The Raven Boys. She said, this book reminds me so much of The Raven Boys. And I got all prickly because I thought I'm a special snowflake. No one's like me. And I read it, and it's about a bunch of classics majors who accidentally kill someone while they're having this Bacchian ritual out in the woods. And it's very elitist and private school, and I could see the resemblance, and I loved it. And so she has her first new book out for years and years and years, and it comes out in October, so I just got the arc, and I'm so excited.
Very cool. Okay. Would you visit Night Vale? And do you know what I'm talking about when I say would you visit Night Vale?
I don't know what you're talking about. Are you going to tell me, or is it a secret?
It isn't, but it's sort of like an underground movement. It's a podcast. Welcome to Night Vale. You need to check it out.
Okay.
What's with the corn cob trailer on your Facebook page?
When I was touring for Forever, I convinced my publisher that instead of flying me all over the country, I would instead do 5,000 miles in my 1973 Camaro. And so I took my best friend, and we drove from stop to stop, and this car was always stopping by the side of the road. It was a terrible idea. But this was one place where we stopped to keep it from overheating, and there was a giant corn cob, and I thought, that is the next tour vehicle, because that looks more reliable. It was amazing up close. It was milk jugs painted yellow, and I just thought,
that is
what
wild. It just cracked me up. Like when I went to your Facebook page, I'm like, there has got to be a story behind this.
It's in a little place called Little Norway.
Little Norway. Mm-hmm. I will have to check it out. Okay, so big music buff. I love to look at your little playlist. So Imagine Dragons or Two Door Cinema Club if you had to pick. Say Imagine Dragons were just here like Friday.
This is terrible because of course I'm on another road trip now because I just drove my Mitsubishi from Virginia to Kansas for my first tour stop, and so I've been listening to music the whole way, and I listened to both Imagine Dragons, Radioactive, and Two Door Cinema Club's Sun on the way here from Kansas City. I'm gonna go Two Door Cinema Club only because compared between those two and album for album, Two Door Cinema Club pleases me more.
I agree. There are a lot of people who are ready for Two Door Cinema Club, so yay. Favorite song right this second? Right off the top of your head.
Favorite song right off the top of my head. There is a song by a band called The Irrepressibles called This Shirt. And it's a very strange song, and it starts out very quietly, and then it gets all epic and strings at the end, and even though I'm a musician and I love for my instruments to be in tune, and the strings are out of tune at the very end. It's so amazing, I don't care. So that should tell you just how amazing it is.
I will have to look that up. Okay, best friend's name.
Tessa Grattan. I was just there.
Is she related to you? No.
No,
So
she is my
that's
critique
awesome.
partner, actually. One of my 2 critique partners.
So you have a BFF that's not related to you. Okay, so here's the tough one. 14 months to write a book. It's a long time.
You see my PTSD happening.
What advice would you give yourself to try to go faster, or do you think you could have?
Don't include 4,000 characters in every novel. That would help. Also, the thing with this book is that I've been writing this book since I was 19, and so I knew exactly how I wanted it, that's not true. I knew exactly what I didn't want it to be.
Right.
And so every time I wrote that, I thought, well, that's not the book. And when I finally hit the right version, I thought, finally, but still, it took a long time because I had a very distinct idea in my head of what it needed to be. So I don't have 14 months to write book 3, so I'm hoping that
You can find your stride faster.
I'm hoping future me will come back and give me advice about how to do that.
That'd be nice.
Yes.
You don't have a TARDIS stashed away somewhere. So, Susan Cooper is brilliant, and I saw somebody compared you to her on your
Yes.
Facebook. How did you feel? You still alive?
I am still alive, although I just thought that I didn't believe them. That's what it came down to. Someone else said it too. I think it was the Observer at the end of the interview said, heir to Susan Cooper. And I was like, oh, that's delightful, but you're lying because no one could be her heir.
And then I saw you were also, Diane Wynne Jones was someone you got compared to. And I see that more actually than I see Susan Cooper. Like I see the research influence from Susan Cooper, but your style I think definitely fits more
it's true.
Diane Wynne Jones.
When I met Susan Cooper and made a total idiot of myself a couple of months ago, I said thank you for introducing me to mythology, because that was really what Susan Cooper did for me. And then Diana Wynne Jones taught me that you could be funny and serious at the same time. And so, yeah, it would please me to sound more like Diana Wynne Jones, but have that undercurrent from Susan Cooper.
That's exactly how I feel about your stuff. Okay, so favorite car character.
Favorite car character?
You gotta have a car character.
It's from a movie, actually. It's Gone in 60 Seconds, which is a terrible Nicolas Cage movie.
I know it well. Angelina Jolie.
Beautiful, yes, beautiful Mustang in it named Eleanor.
Awesome. Coolest moment as an author. Can you think of a moment that just, I'm an author and I'm having this moment and it wouldn't have happened if I weren't?
Yes, I can remember an exact moment, actually, because when I was a kid, I always knew that I wanted to be an author. And I used to daydream about this moment where I would walk into a bookstore and I would be standing at the shelf and I couldn't find anything to read, and someone would recommend my own book to me. And when Linger came out, I was standing in the young adult section and I was just thinking, I've read everything here. I have no idea. And someone came up and said, can I help you find anything? I said, I don't know. I feel like I've read everything here. And she said, have you tried the Shiver series? It's amazing. And I just stared at her, and everyone always asks me if I told her who I was, and I couldn't. I just stared at her, and then I staggered like a zombie out of the store because it was so perfectly that moment of what I had daydreamed.
Yeah, you wanted to preserve it and not ruin it. That's wonderful. Okay, so streetcar racing. Really? How does one decide, oh, I'm going to be a streetcar racer?
Oh, it was a terrible team. Mostly I just was also a competition bagpiper, which seems it is not actually related, but I swear.
I know somebody, and she said that. She was like, I don't know what it is about bagpipers, but they have bad reputations.
They're terrible people. They really are. And the thing was, I was very competitive, and I always hung out with guys, and so I always had this thing where I had to prove that I was better than them. And when I was a teen, in a car, it was an easy way to do it. I had this Jetta that my parents had got me, and they assumed because it was a little diesel Jetta that I wouldn't get into trouble.
I love my Jetta.
Jettas had a lot of torque. It was really fast off the lake.
It is. It's a very fun ride. Okay, so why were you homeschooled? That's not usually a typical thing that happens without decision and planning involved. Or
I'm actually one of 5 kids, and I was a Navy brat, and so we moved around all over once every year. And so my parents were always bringing us in and out of schools, and then eventually they just thought, try homeschooling. And my mom is a very good teacher, so it made a lot of sense. I loved it because, well, Sam was homeschooled in the Shiver series, and his experience was mine, where his books would come in a big box, and it was like boy in a box right there. And so when my box came in, it was my school in a box, and you were supposed to sort of space out the lessons throughout the week, and instead I would sit there, and this is how I work even today. I love the fact that I could take out my books and I could spend literally all day. I would study for 18 hours and get all of my homework done for the week, and then I would just be a crazy person that rode horses and showed dogs and had a bagpipe band and did all this else for the rest of the week. So I love that it gave me a lot of free time.
That's
I can
cool.
imagine how it would turn some people into hellions.
Yes.
I might have been a hellion.
I was going to say, I have 3 younger sisters.